Well, hey everybody. I want to put up this video without any frills or pre-production. Uh, anyway, uh, I've watched the Tesla Cybertruck reveal, and I've watched many, uh, I guess, streaming videos of people that were there to get a test ride along and witness uh, the cool cyberpunk slash Mad Max slash dystopian future, uh, big pavilion. Um, they had all kinds of like future cars and stuff from different movies and things like that. I tried to see what they had, and I saw different stuff from like, I don't know, looked like a Ghost in the Shell police car, and the underwater car from one of the James Bond. I think Elon Musk owns that. Um, and there was one of the cars from the original Blade Runner. So, and I noticed, the on-stage performance, like the six people that jumped out of the Cybertruck. They were dressed up in like Matrix, like black clothing with leather, or like Mad Max, uh, Beyond Thunderdome, with the feather frill dress type deal. It was, so there's a lot of little like cool references, and the lasers and the just the sci-fi slash, you know, um, just like the future ambience, like the future we were promised, and we don't have really. Um, there's a lot of people, I think, studying the situation, like a lot of 1980s generation. Like, we were supposed to have like a really cool future, and it's turned out to be kind of dumb. So I think Elon Musk is part of that. Like, he knows what our generation kind of wants to see, and this is like a I guess they thrust in that direction to like provide a theme, in a product. So I don't know. It's like selling. It's like selling the future we were supposed to have, I guess. So anyway, uh, I tried to watch the whole. I was at work at the time, so I couldn't watch the actual reveal on the actual reveal time. But I saw like a recorded stream, and there was a hologram gal. If you watch the whole presentation, uh, she said, "In the future, there won't be straws, I promise." And um, there was like a revealed, like I guess that's Elon Musk's girlfriend. He had her dress up as like a hologram slash uh, fem AI, kind of like from the new Blade Runner movie, in that veneer. So it was really cool to see another reference like that. But she had like a weird greeting, and like the crowd was like crowding it up like with the him and Han. I didn't hear what the greeting was. It was like salutations or something. I don't know what it was. I'd like somebody to figure out what that was. But it was kind of like a happy dystopia. Like, she's saying that, welcome to Los Angeles 2019 November. The air is polluted, and we offer you this awesome solution and this and that. And I don't know, I think for the average like consumer that it doesn't understand the like culture for like dystopian sci-fi, it just, like, if you look at a lot of the media and whatever, uh, they're not understanding. Like, they were saying, "Oh, this is so weird," and what's going on? This is so atypical, and maybe their wardrobe had a malfunction and this and that. It's like, you fuddy duddies, you are culturally uh, in a deficit. You don't get that, and like anyway. So that's the way it is. I mean, uh, so anyway, I wanted to title this video a military assessment of the Tesla Cybertruck. So my background is, well, I don't want to get into too much, but one of the things I did was a convoy gunner in Iraq, and I rode up in the gunner's turret, up in the MRAP class, armored vehicle, and this and that, and guarded convoys, mostly with supplies and fuel. So, in a way, did you see that new Mad Max movie, kind of, where they were running around with fuel and guarding it and stuff? Kind of same idea. Um, in the future, there's I don't know how I can explain this, but if you look at the modern uh, Western style consumerism, this and that, it's energy based, it's um, resource intensive, it's there's a lot of things going on there, but at the core of it, it's energy supplies, and a lot of that is supplied by petroleum and whatnot. And I like petroleum. It's great for like making pharmaceuticals, for plastics, for rocket fuel, stuff like that. There's a lot of manufacturing uses for it, but just to straight burn it is one of the um, I guess. Whoa, something's moving. It's one of the least. Uh, what would the word be? Straight burning it is kind of like burning fancy wood carved furniture to stay warm. Okay, I mean you can, but it would be better to have some nice wood carved furniture versus use it as a fuel source. And so the cool things you can do with petroleum is way better than just burning it. I mean, so what I noticed is uh, in theater of war, like just about all the war machines and stuff like that, uh, the NATO policy of running everything on diesel pretty much made that like the fuel of choice. And diesel in some ways is really good in that function. It doesn't burn if you stick a match into it. It has to be atomized, so it's really stable, a lot more stable than gasoline. Uh, it has very high BTUs, British thermal units. Um, so anyway, uh, the military had a logistics issue where they had generators and stuff. They had to keep getting diesel to run the generators to get electricity to run base functions, whether it was air conditioners or refrigeration or heaters or computers or radios or just about anything. And so it was a constant stream of petroleum that had to be delivered, was not self-supplying, and because of that they needed a bunch of convoys, and so it put people at risk to help deliver all this essential petroleum to these different bases to get the energy required to run things. So it's a logistics issue. So with the Cybertruck, an add-on is going to be a solar panel, and from what Elon Musk said, it would that standard slab-sided solar panel would refuel or give about 15 miles of range per average day. So what you've achieved here is a uh, highly mobile, highly agile, very fast, uh, very low maintenance vehicle that self supplies its own energy autonomously, right? As long as you have access to solar radiation. So as long as the sun is available, you got a self fueling vehicle. Um, that's amazing. Okay, if you have that function in a military vehicle that doesn't require petroleum to function, to move, to communicate, all that stuff, that gives you unparalleled options. The idea of having a vehicle that can drive itself, autonomous driving, that frees up a driver. Obviously, that driver could now become a gunner. Or, when I was over there, they were testing out what was called a Crow system, which was basically a robot gun. And technically, you could basically have an autonomous vehicle with an autonomous weapon system. You wouldn't even need a crew. That was on locale. And if you look at like the Mars probes and stuff like that, they use a solar panel to keep that sucker juiced up to run around. It's the same idea. If you have a vehicle that has a solar panel, and yeah, okay, 15 miles range, a lot of people might scoff at that, but it adds up. And you could also have, Elon Musk was talking about having other panels that would come out of it, out of the vehicle, to add more solar to it. So there's other options. You could have a trailer that has solar panels on it, all kinds of add-ons, upgrades. It would be like one of those Mars rovers that self-supplies its energy to provide motion, and you wouldn't need a petroleum supply chain, all that logistics and all the personnel and the problems and this and that. So I really hope the military, especially like the generals and the people in the technology and stuff like that, they understand the next level of this, what this entails. Now, as far as this vehicle, commercial off the shelf, would it be able to withstand like a EFP or IED, stuff like that? Probably not. But it does have a high capacity for towing and a high load capacity. That could be translated as up-armoring. So, but then again, with everything going autonomous, I was listening to this one podcast where in the future, and I really think there's something to this, we're going to have a very small set of very professional like pilots, but they'd be like soldier pilots, but what they would be like drone pilots or autonomous vehicle / robotic pilots. Basically a well-trained group of remote operators that will operate some kind of like robotic vehicle or robotic mechanoid or automaton, or like a robotic uh, uh, man soldier chassis, right? But anyway, you're going to have a bunch of pilots that are highly trained piloting these autonomous gadgets. Just think like a robot soldier and robot vehicles. Autonomously piloting these things from could be back in the States, and then there's a war somewhere, uh, in some other poor country off in the middle of who knows where. Um, and when the automaton or the vehicle or whatever it gets destroyed or runs out of ammunition or otherwise becomes disabled or runs out of fuel, say, okay, we ran out of fuel in our autonomous Cybertruck up armored vehicle or whatever, so we need to leave it in the sun for a few days, get it charged up, and we'll be back in business. Well, this pilot slash operator just changes the vehicle or changes the automaton, switches the switch, and goes on to the next one. So it'd be like an endless line of robot vehicles and robot men things, you know, that would be like disposable. Obviously you don't want to, these cost a lot of money, whatever, you don't want to have them getting destroyed all over the place, but when the avatar of the operator becomes out of service one way or the other, the operator just switches to another one, and on down the line. And so you're going to have all these operators that aren't killed. Their avatar, their mechanoid extension can get destroyed or go in there for maintenance or whatever, and they'll just move on to the next one. It's like a pair of shoes. You wear it out, you have another pair of shoes, right? But same idea. You're not destroyed, your shoes are. You just go on to the next pair of shoes. We do that all the time. So that's going to be the future. Now, if you couple that with self-supply in the field, to where you have a vehicle such as a Cybertruck type vehicle, or what the military is doing a lot of is commercial off-the-shelf situations where they could take a Cybertruck, up-armor it, make it autonomous, remote piloted, add a remote piloted weapon system on it. It'd be like a ground-based UAV. It'd be really inexpensive to commercial off the shelf that compared to a lot of these other systems. And then you couple that with in-field refueling, with by solar. You could just leave this thing. It'd be like one of these Mars or moon buggies, where it does this little experimentation or this little reconnaissance or this little exploration, and then it's running out of electricity. Well, get it to a spot and power it down and let it recharge, and then the operator is tired, let him go home, bring in another operator, everything's recharging, everything's ready to go up again, you're back in business. Continuous operations, no casualties, no human casualties on our forces side, and no logistics the way it was in the past. The way things are going with drones and things like that, you could have autonomous drones resupplying these autonomous vehicles and mechanoids in field where I think it's called Tanban system or something like that, where like in retail it's a just-in-time system. Like if you go to one of these big box retailers, you buy stuff, they don't have a lot of stock in the back, but they have like a computerized inventory where things are assessed. You know, okay, we're out of this. We just sold a bunch. Let's have the next shipment come in and resupply. But you just do that with drones. Okay, so say this Cybertruck or whatever, or this mechanoid or whatever, has gone through this amount of ammunition or this amount of whatever. Okay, so we're gonna send an autonomous drone out to resupply in the field, and there you go. You're not losing chopper pilots. You're not losing any of this stuff that you're usually losing. And if the drone goes down, you just send out another. Anyway, this podcast or this assessment was the side that can produce the most autonomous vehicles and mechanoids and drones and stuff, and have their core pilots or their core operators protected. It's just going to be a numbers game. Can you produce more of these autonomous avatar systems that no matter if they get destroyed or disabled, you know, whatever, if you have enough replacements, you have enough operators, keep and continuously throw them out there, you're going to overwhelm any other system. It's just a numbers game, and that's the way it looks like it's going. So, from like a military assessment of the Cybertruck, I think it's a really good system. Even if you're like not feeling it, I hope there's going to be enough like military-minded people or military people that buy one of these. And looking at the initial assessments and things like that, it's basically a vehicle you buy once and you run it for 25 years, economically. And it seats 6 plus, you know, obviously you can see some in the back there too. Wow. Like I think I'm gonna order one up. I think because there's a 2+ year lag time between ordering one up and actually getting it. I think that I can swing that. Looking at the idea that it self fuels if you get that solar add-on, and even if you don't, you could have like a little solar station at your forward operating base. And when you're done with operations, you just plug it in, let it recharge. You don't need any petroleum supply specialists and junk like that doing risking their you-know-whats to supply your operation. And so yeah, I mean, what I'm looking at is I've already played around with solar power and battery storage and things like that. In the future, what I'm going to have is a carport of some kind with solar panels on the top, and then there'll be a dock / charging station there. That when I get one of these, I think I'm going to get the Cybertruck. I believe I'm going to have it be able to dock in there and recharge, and then I think I'd like to get the solar panel option for it too. So when it's out and about, it'll passively charge the system. And so, hypothetically, all you'd have to really change on it is the tires, which would wear down, maybe the bearings or whatever. But the less components, a lot of people scoffed at it. Well, it's so bare bones and this and that. It's so Spartan and whatever. That's what you want. Less things that go wrong, and the fact there's no paint job to worry about. Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of paint jobs going south. I think maintenance is going to be one of the lowest maintenance required vehicles. Just initial assessment. Obviously, once they get out on the road and like everybody in their Billy Bob brothers is going to be using these, they're going to find issues and whatnot. But there's very little to go wrong. I like to see the different temperature gradients effect on it. The reason why I haven't gone uh, EV, electric vehicle, or hybrid vehicle, electric slash petroleum motor, full bores. I live in a state which gets really bad snow, and I don't really think that that sort of system, unless it was like in a truck chassis, is going to be really good for the really bad snow and ice. So that this opportunity, it's looking really good. So uh, basically, to sum it up, from a military assessment of the Cybertruck, I would say that logistically, it's very good. It has a opportunity to self charge, which is unheard of in any production vehicle. Basically, people have taken solar panels in the past and retrofit them on vehicles and stuff, but this is going to have it actually in a production vehicle, possibly having one over the bed, a solar panel of some sort. So to have a vehicle that self-fuels, wow, 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 wow. That's like a horse that eats grass and self-fuels. We haven't had that in a long time. Um, what else? Let's see. The cold rolled steel that's rocket ship grade, where it's withstands a lot of you know bumps and sledgehammers and stuff like that. Great, great. Uh, I run into stuff all the time. I live out in the boonies, and I run into deer, and they just dent up the crap out of my vehicle. I can't have a vehicle that's going to be nice, because eventually a deer's going to run into it. They kamikaze you right into the side of your vehicle, or like I have a grill guard on the front to protect the sensitive grill and the lights and stuff. Yeah, that's great. That's good. And as far as like the windows, and the infamous the cracking of the windows and stuff. One guy had a video. He was saying that if you notice on the presentation of the uh, the shatter resistant glass, um, they would tighten down to keep the I guess the frame rigid. They would tighten down after every iteration of the ball gravity dropping. The theory was maybe when the sledgehammer hit the door a couple times, it maybe have displaced the window a little bit in its frame and made it less well seated, and that's what caused the the trauma to the glass that caused the shattering of it. And it's pretty good theory. The fact that resistant glass wasn't penetrated, it was just marred up. Great. As long as it doesn't penetrate, who cares? That's pretty good. Pretty good armored glass. So hopefully I brought up some good key points. There's a lot of crazy people on the internet that say crazy things, but I just want to bring I'm no longer in the military. I may go back, but I want to bring like a military assessment to this thing that's sorely needed. The specifications and stuff like that are pretty impressive. The fact that you can pre-order it and then be like, wow, I got that Cybertruck coming in the future. I gotta get my promotions done. I gotta get my finances in order, this and that, and then once I have this thing, it's gonna last me about 25 years or so. Pretty good. That's really good. And the fact that Elon Musk paid a lot of respect to the whole dystopia and the 1980s aesthetic of what the 2020s are supposed to be like and whatnot. It's very impressive. when you want ideas of the future, just read sci-fi, watch sci-fi movies and stuff like that. A lot of the sci-fi, science fiction that you see, a lot of engineers and scientists and stuff look at it to get like imaginative direction to move forward, because your imagination brings ideas, and then you can develop materials and ways and means to implement those ideas. So it's like a precursor to getting any kind of like um, what do you call it? It is a initiator for later things, the shape of things to come. So if you want to look at the future, look at the sci-fi, because that they do all the Imagineering and stuff, and then our technical and scientific people implement what the idea. There's a lot of people are really good with engineering and scientific stuff, but their imagination's pretty low. And a lot of people that are imaginative, their scientific and engineering abilities are pretty low. So one group can seed the other group, and for getting stuff to happen, and that's what's going on. So I just hope, like, from a military assessment, I hope a lot of these military people, like, if you look at look at the MRAPs and the Humvees and stuff, that all that stuff is all slab sided in a lot of ways, and that's just like catcher's mitt. If you look at a catcher's mitt, it's a big slab sided piece of leather to catch the ball. That slab sided stuff is what catches projectiles, right? But you don't want that, because it messes with the meat the meat up inside that vehicle. What you want is an angled type, like an angled type um, um, geometry for your armor and things like that, because what that does, it deflects it deflects things off like a ramp. It deflects things off. So if you look at a lot of, like, if you study like tank armor and stuff like that, a lot of like the early tank designs that were slab sided, and what was found is that it would catch projectiles and absorb all the force and provide a way for that projectile to detonate and stuff. But then it was found, if you look at the layered developments, that more of the design was more rounded, so it would deflect things. The projectiles would deflect off and or they'd be slab-sided and things would just bounce off. It wouldn't be able to gain a purchase. If even some of the turrets and stuff on the tanks, they would be. Wish I had an example. Oh, here we go. Like, they'd be rounded on top, so things would just bounce off. Instead of being slab-sided, where things would just, like, this is slab-sided, it would just catch on it. But if it had like a upside down frying pan, like a, see how that's rounded, it would just bounce off the turret. So there's a lot of geometry and things like that, but the angular design of this Cybertruck is good for like projectiles. They're just gonna glance off, right? And it's stainless steel. It's not gonna rust like a lot of these vehicles. Like, if you look into a lot of products made today, they're made to degrade, so you have to buy another one. I don't see that happening with the stainless steel. And so the glass, where it's all flat, it's a lot cheaper to replace than all this rounded stuff. Same for the body panels and stuff. It's going to be easier to make. You're going to have better repair and replacement if you need to. As far as like extraction, like, a lot of people have complained or brought up, like, well, what if you get in a car wreck? It's going to decimate the other vehicle. Yeah, probably. it's gonna, if you get jammed in there, like it's gonna be hard to get you out of it. Like imagine being stuck in one of those. Like you have a wreck and you have a power failure, and now you can't open the window, you can't open the door. It's jammed up, and then some of the batteries catch fire and you fry in there. That would suck. There's got to be a way to get out of it. I hope they think of a way to emergency get out of it. Because if it being so well rigid and having an exoskeleton design and stuff like that, a unibody design and stuff like that, they have to have a way to get out of it. What if it falls in the water? What if you drive off maybe you're autonomously driving and there's a malfunction and it goes right into the water, and how you're going to get out of it? Stuff to think about. But, but as long as it stays on dry land, great. So, anyway, I think from a military assessment of the Cybertruck, there's a lot of ideas here that actually have come out of sci-fi into our reality. If you can wrap your mind around it, why don't you go see some of these cyber dystopia videos or movies and stuff? You'll start to appreciate the thought, or some of these dystopian movies and things like that. You'll start to appreciate ease of repair, form and functionality over aesthetics, or maybe aesthetics over form and functionality. I mean, it depends. It depends what your game is, but at any rate, I think the total cost of ownership on one of these is going to be way less over time, way less hassles, way less trauma. If you have a deer hitting it or something, yeah, like I drive a little Ford Ranger. It has hit so many deer, it's not looking good. So, at any rate, I hope I gave a little bit of ideas and aspects to think about. The idea that it's very low maintenance and self-fuels, possibly with a solar panel addition. And obviously, if you have a home solar system, you could basically never have to buy petroleum in bulk anymore for burning, for vehicle mobility. You get this sucker and you do the proper facilities and stuff, even at home, which I plan to do. And all that money that you would normally spend on petroleum, you could spend towards paying off the truck, see? So, at any rate, I hope this has been a different assessment for people that are more like me, like veterans and stuff, that are kind of like marginally doing so in life, like we were great war fighters, but now we're not really needed so much, so we're kind of like eking along or whatever, but I think from a perspective of, hey, I want to buy something, I need it to last, I need it to be functional. I don't really give a flying, what you think about my style is, because I'm confident in myself. And if you don't want to play along, just buy a Prius or something like a lot of people that don't like the Cybertruck, they'd like the Prius style, which is fine. But I don't know about a Prius in a winter icy situation. I don't know. I almost bought one, a used one, but I don't trust it in really bad snow drifts and things like that. I just don't trust that situation. I need a truck, and this fits the bill. And so I'm gonna take a look at it, and I'll probably pre-order. If you want to pre-order, it's $100 refundable on the Tesla.com/Cybertruck. And I would put in a pre-order, and then if you don't like it, you can get the $100 back. Obviously, you're gonna have to do a bunch of fancy footwork for that to do that, but get on the list because everybody knows it takes years and years to get these get a hold of these. But in this case, it's good. It allowed me to work up to the price of one of those. But I know it's steep, but you get what you pay for, really, in life. And if it's the last truck I buy, oh yeah, that'd be a pretty good purchase, fiscally thinking. So, okay, well, I hope this has been helpful. This has been Military Industrial Museum. I really want to improve my channel, but then again, analysis paralysis, because I really like a studio and stuff like that, but I should just make videos like this and get them out there. What else? Oh, this cap here. It is awesome. I'm going to put an Amazon link in the description. I ordered 6 of these. And what I do is I wear, 5 during the work week, and I have a 6 on the weekend. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me talk about this cap a little bit, and let me try to sell you. Okay, first of all, it's only $8, okay? So it's not some huge expensive thing, but what does it do for you? In the military, we had these. I don't know if I have that available. I might have it right around here somewhere. I saw it, but now I don't. I don't see it. Need to get my situation situated. So anyway, in the military, we had. Well, they're gone. I think they have a different system. I think they have these now. But physical training in the Army, we had these gray, they call them watch caps. They're fine. But these black ones are way better. This is why. If you look at the color spectrum and the way the infrared, the heat of the color spectrum works, it's attracted to dark colors. So if you wear something dark, or you have like a truck, like my truck is black painted, you can absorb heat, and it will actually provide heat if it's exposed to light. Light will hit that, and the black color will absorb it and give you more heat. So having a black hat, wow, it'll help heat your head. So anyway, if you have a bad hair day or whatever, just wear one of these caps, you're good. And it covers the back of your head and like that and everything like that. It takes care of things, and it's easy to wash. It's but I ordered 6 of them myself, and you change them out like socks. You don't want to wear a pair of socks every day. You just wear it for the day, and then you change out to another one. But really good. It protects your head from the wind. You can also wear your hoodies and things like that on top of it for more protection. So for the cold, the fall through winter, really good value. I think they use these now in the military for PT, physical training caps. I'm pretty sure. So I'll put a link and my Amazon affiliate link on there on the video. And if you want an awesome cap that's cheap, that I recommend, that I use all the time, I'll put that there. And the way that the Amazon affiliate link system works is, if you click on that and go to Amazon, Amazon kicks me back a couple pennies and quarters and stuff like that as being a referral. And it doesn't cost you anything. It comes out of their referral budget. So, what do you call? So I'll do that. And yeah, if you want an excellent cap for this cold, if you keep, most of your heat loss actually comes, most of it comes out of your head. So if you always wear a cap, you'll reduce your ability to be chilled, and especially covering your ears. Like if you keep your ears covered like that, the cold wind won't go in, and if you keep the cold wind out of your ears, you won't get sick. I mean, like I haven't had a sick day in over a year. A lot of it has to do with these caps. So, at any rate, hope you check out these caps. They have like almost 4 stars on Amazon, so I think they're like $8. So you better order a bunch because they're worth it. And so that's it for that. You do what you want to do. So anyway, that's the end of my video. I hope it's been helpful. I always say I'm gonna make more videos, and I never do. So this time I'm gonna say I'm not gonna make any videos after this one, and then I'll make a bunch. Reverse psychologize myself. Okay, take care.